down at the Quick Speed Shop. Working on the C10, I got miscellaneous things going on. We're going to fit the passenger side rocker in, not do a full rocker video, but show you bits and pieces, fitting the door. Door's got some rust, but I got the answer. I just ordered a whole bunch of parts from AMD, repair panels for the doors. We'll take a look at that. They came in, and we'll keep plugging away on this truck here. Today we're fixing a huge problem I had last time. If you guys watch, put the rocker panel on, and I had the driver's door mounted up on it, which is laying over there. And I stripped out the top plate here, the top bolt hole stripped out. And the only problem with that is it goes in here, right? It's in this like caged in bracket, so it's adjustable. And the only way to get it out of there and replace it is to do that, to cut a nasty hole in the cab. Now, the upper one, here's this piece here that welds on over it. They put a big brace in for the upper cab mount, or the upper door hinge mount, and it's spot weld all the way around here. So you got to cut the outer skin off, peel that away, then cut into the inner structure because there's no way to get to it from the inside. Then it kind of snaked the bracket out. And I went out to the other junk truck and I cut the, whatever reason, the hinge brackets are better on that. This truck, they're all like half stripped out for some reason. So this top one, the first hole is stripped right out. The threads pulled right out of it. The other ones are nasty. So I got all four brackets hanging up here, but I went to the Ace Hardware just a little while ago, and I got a fine thread, 3/8 fine thread tap. And you really want to use a thread chaser, not a tap when you're doing something like this. If you already got threads, like taps for cutting threads and thread chasers are for cleaning them up, but it's hard to find thread chasers out in the wild, obviously, just at a random hardware store. But they have taps, so we'll do the wrong thing, or do the right thing the wrong way. We'll use a tap it, and see how we make out here. I should have a tap handle that I can steal that this will fit in. It'll fit right in this one. For whatever reason, I didn't have a fine... Oh, did that... Could have just broken that. Man, I got real lucky. Yikes. All I had was coarse thread taps, so it forced me to run out to the store. Luckily, they're only like $7 a piece. So we've got the correct tap, do some tapping action. So I don't know if you guys can see way up there, but I want to eyeball these holes. Now I went and ran a bolt in them and it kind of got funky with the bolt. I started taking the threads off the bolt and wrecking the whole thing. I probably should oil this with some goo. So hopefully I can save the threads here. I don't know why they're so nasty. But hopefully this will chase them through enough to work. Because I really don't have to cut all these plates out. I cut them all out of the old truck because there's no reason not to. The cab is junk, so I might as well cut them out and save them. I cut a little bit of debris out of there. How do the threads look? I mean, ish. If I had a bolt, we could try it. And see if that helped at all. Let's try it. Ooh. That's nice. I wanted to do this, obviously, before I finish the cab or paint the cab, because it would be a real trick to fix it later. And I think these are going to clean up all right. This top one, like I said, was wrecked, but if we can chase these with this tap and re-establish the threads. And it's taking a little bit of goo out of there. I think it's going to be all right, where I don't have to replace all of them. I do that rag. Let's run this through here and see how it is here. Here we go. It just seems like these are so much better. That went everywhere. Just seems like these ones look like they're so much better shape for whatever reason. Yeah, it's taking about the same amount of effort to run this in here as it was the other ones, and some goo came out. I don't know. I don't know. Usually fine threads work pretty good because they're so tight. It's hard for moisture and stuff to get into and rust them. That's why I think this cab might have sat with the doors off it for a while, and weather got in there, and since the threads are bare, obviously because they never had paint on them, that maybe they rusted a lot. A lot just sitting there with no bolts in them. Maybe, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. Or maybe somebody had the doors on and off a bunch of times for whatever reason, who knows. But we're making it happen. At least had to replace this upper one, like I said. It was stripped right out. And there was no saving it. Oh, that's just a little bit tight. Why is it tight? Oh, there it goes. Very curious. Well, it's got like a weird little burr in it somewhere. There we go. Yeah. I think you see that. See how the threads are shiny and they're not really shiny on here? And when I put the door on to do the rocker and I ran them into the old threads, it kind of stripped out or monkeyed up the threads on these bolts just a little bit. Yeah, shoot, it kind of like stripped them a little bit. Dang, I wish I hadn't done that because I just ruined half my door bolts. And I don't have a 3/8, what do you call it? A 3/8 tap fine thread die to chase the threads on the bolts. I guess it goes in all right. I might have to buy a couple of bolts because a couple of them look pretty wrecked. Smooth, and Whew. We'll have a repair, but it's a little, it's a lot of work to fix something like that. Gotta be careful not to weld the plate to the other plate and lose your adjustment. That'd be bad. I don't think that'll happen. We're careful. Gotta be careful. Once in a while, I'll give her a jiggle. She's good. Okay, so I got it welded up here, the inner piece and ground down. I'm just going to take some flat black Rust-Oleum. I'm just going to rattle can some action in here just to put a little corrosion resistance on in here. We'll do what we can do. Try to make things better than they were before. I already blew, when I had to cut apart, I blew a whole bunch inside the pillar there. So now I got to fold all this sheet metal back up and put it back where it goes. Well, some of it's a little deformed, and it's got to get flat again for the door hinge to bolt onto. How did this? Aha. This is going to be a little tricky because it's kind of deformed a lot. So I had to peel her like a can opener to get in. But I think I should be able to get it back to where it's got to go. Aha! There we go. She's closing back up now. Oops. This piece bends down. Like that. Here's the problem. I've cut, I cut it with the cutoff wheel and the gaps are pretty wide. Gaps are pretty wide. Was my hat running away? Well, it should. These pieces kind of want to be right up into each other. And into the inner, the piece behind it. Just got to clean the metal off. On my brand new epoxy. Is what it is. So I'll go ahead and get that welded up. You just see me welding. It's going to be the exact same thing. I'm just going to go and start tacking it and hammering it and tacking the welder back up. Get her all zipped back together. And we'll have a swapped out hinge plate in the toughest place to get a hinge plate swapped out in. Got this all ground down as best I could. It smoothed right back out. I can't even tell we were in there, except for this. I don't have any way to grind this real good. I think I'm going to go to Harbor Freight, and we'll do an unboxing video later, but they've got the little Bauer, it's like a, what do you call it, like a little, like a 1-inch wide belt sander, like a handheld belt sander, and it gets in and does a little detail work. It'd be good for grinding something like this, and you could also just clean up little spots instead of taking the big grinder and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to get one of those. They're like 60 bucks at Harbor Freight. Get in here and I can do reverse curves like this, grind all that down, clean that up. But we got her going. The plates in there, right there, should be all good to go. The rest of these are all tuned up with the tap and with the die, or the tap, cleaned up with the tap, so I think they're good. I'll get a couple new bolts. So this side's all done, except for that. I'm going to wait and prime all this in one shot. A little bit of seam sealer here and there and stuff like that. So now the truck needs to go kirk and move over here because I can't put the door on the other side. And speaking about the doors, last time I had the door on, then I took it off, the driver's door, and I laid it down. And I'm like, oh, it's all rotted on the bottom and it's rotted here. So that got me curious as what the status of the passenger door was. So I got that out. Big hole in the bottom of it on the outside, which I knew. But I looked down, oh no, big hole in the front. It's got a piece put down in there. It's all mudded up here on the corner and looking, if you can see inside there, there's body filler in that big hole. This corner is all junk, that's all junk. So I went to AMD and I ordered 2 inner door bottoms, which they come up, I think they come up here, like up to where the bottom of the door panel is. which I don't anywhere need that much. I'm probably going to replace it right to this line. So I ordered 2 door bottoms. They're only like 35 bucks a piece, which I thought was real reasonable. And then I ordered another door skin bottom. I have one that I had bought before for the passenger door. It's not, I might have got it from AMD actually. It's a Tri Plus panel, which I think comes from AMD. But you can see how big this is. All the way up to there. Obviously, I don't need this much of it. What I'm thinking about doing, so anyways, I ordered one more of these for the other side because I'm sure there's going to be some rust in the, it'll be easier to put new bottom on both doors. So they also have full door skins that go all the way up to here for, I think they're like 80 bucks a piece, which I thought about doing because I do have to weld up these 2 mirror holes in the door. But the rest of the door is like super straight, and I think I don't want to press my luck with changing the whole door skin because last episode I also, I fitted the door really well to the cab. So I don't really want to take that door and put a new skin on it and have something get off and have the door jamb or the door gap be weird, or like have the aftermarket skin be a little different and not have it line up. The other option is they make brand new door shells, and on sale from CJ Pony Parts, which I got the back of the cab from, right now they got them on sale for $600 for a pair of doors plus tax plus truck freight, which would probably be 150 bucks. So you look at $750 for a brand new set of door shells that you would just have to scuff and shoot. But again, they're aftermarket. Are they going to fit? I've already welded the rocker in. Would they fit? Would the door lines be perfect? AMD also has door shells. They're like $350 a piece at AMD, plus probably 150 bucks for ship. So you'd be like, 700, 850 bucks for doors. So for like 50 bucks, I can put new bottoms on these doors because it's like 35 bucks for the inner, and I think it's $24 for the outer skin. So what I think I'll do is I'll grind the edge of the door off. This one's all mudded up way up into here. I'll grind the skin down to free up the inner piece. Just grind it off all the way around. Cut the inner piece out. Weld the new inner piece on. And then I'm probably going to glue the lower piece on because I don't really want to weld all the way across the door and have it warp, which is very possible. If I had a TIG welder, this would be a perfect job to butt weld with a TIG welder, but I don't have the TIG option hooked up for my welder. I don't have that option right now, and I'm not a TIG welder right now. But I think what I probably will do soon in a video here is we'll put the inner piece in and probably cut the skin like 1 inch from this body line and take the new skin there and put a flange on that will go up behind this, and I'll use my epoxy, my 3M panel bond adhesive, and glue a new inner piece on. Probably use a couple of self-tappers along here to hold it while it's gluing, then pull them out and either weld up the single holes or use more glue and glue the holes shut. And then since it'll have a step, it'll look like this. The top skin will be here, if you can see that in the dust, and then the lower skin will be flanged under it, and the glue seam will be right here on this flange. Did you see that? Let's do it again down here. So it'll be like that, and then the other piece will be like that, and then you'll take it, and the glue will be there, then you'll mud over the seam with Duraglass, and we'll be able to fix all that, keep it below the body line. This truck is going to be two-tone. It's going to be Hawaiian blue on the top, and then the bottom is going to be like a frost beige creamy color. So there'll be a tape line here and a blue pinstripe, a Hawaiian blue pinstripe, kind of almost on the seam. So you'll lose all that, even if bodywork's not perfect, but this is a flat panel that'll be easy to bodywork. The cream really will hide a lot of stuff and being down low. So I think that's what I'll do. Put the inner piece in, then we'll cut the skin, flip it, get it cut off, put the new skin on, have an overlap of like 1/2 inch, panel bond adhesive it together, and then grind it smooth, and then Duraglass the seam with Duraglass short strand fiberglass, which should be waterproof. seam seal it on the inside all the way by hand because I can get in there with the door panel being off. Seal it all up good, panel bond adhesive all the way around, clamp it, and then when the glue is dry, roll the edges over with some more glue, glue the skin on, you know, probably almost no welding whatsoever, and then that's really not going to warp. It'll be waterproof because it'll be glued together, and then Duraglass, and then seam sealed, so it'll be waterproof, won't have any corrosion issues like with welding, won't have any warping issues, hopefully. So I think that's what the plan is to patch both these doors. I have another set of doors that came with this parts truck. The original door to that side, and it had a door off another truck on this side, which was really rough. And I want to say that door was rotted as much as these doors. And I've already fitted this door to the thing, so I might as well fix these doors, so then at least they match that way. So the rest of the doors are mint, like they're super straight, no damage, no rust except the very bottom edge. So it will be the best plan just to fix them. These mirror holes I was going to weld up. I'm almost thinking maybe I could take panel bond adhesive and cut like a little coin of metal and glue it on from the back side, and then we'll just Duraglass in the holes with a glued up panel on the back because that would be waterproof. Because you weld these holes up right in the center of this panel, you got a good chance of getting a warp in it. So if I glue on a little coin, you know, like a quarter-sized disc on the back just to plug this hole up, and then sand it and Duraglass the hole in, and then bodywork the hole, it will be a waterproof repair that will be permanent. That's, you know, if I seam sealed on the inside and painted on the inside and stuff, it shouldn't ever rust, and then it won't be warpage. Like welded in the center of a big straight panel like this, especially in the door where you would see it if it warped or whatever, like you got to body work it. You know, this door is super straight. I think it's got one little ding in it somewhere. I felt it and saw it the other day. Yeah, right there. There's a ding right there, a tiny little one. But we can block this, prime it and block it. Take a little tiny little skim coat of filler on it. It's yeah, right there. It's like a little door ding, barely on. But so that's the plan with the doors. Get them going. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern for like big projects right now until I get the door skin parts. But I just ordered them today, which is on the weekend, and AMD usually ships pretty fast, so I'll have them the end of next week. So I'll be able to get right on the doors. I'll have the other rocker done in the meantime, get that going. I got to cut the door bars out over there too still, got them cut out. But get the rocker fitted to that side, hang the door, get the rocker fit on, and then all the metal work on the cab will be pretty much done. I still got to grind the roof skin and get that cleaned up and get it ready for primer. I want to get the rest of the welding done on the cab, scuff it again, mask it off, and like shoot the door jambs here and shoot the rockers and stuff with epoxy primer. And I got to prime the wheel wells back there. Where are they? See them back there? The inner wheel houses. I got to prime them and stuff. So I'm going to go in tonight and come out tomorrow, and we'll labor along a little bit more on the C10 cab here. This one's probably going to be a little boring because it's just not that much of work, but whatever. It is what it is. Sometimes that's how it goes. Okay, it's the next day. I haven't moved the truck over yet, but I'm going to move the truck over here in a minute. But I think before I do that, I'm going to get up here and, if you guys can see, I'm going to grind and prepare the roof for priming and seam sealing here. I got some tacks to grind back there, and then I got a little bit of grinding up here in the front. Just get them plug welds ground up, and then I could actually scuff this roof panel and get it ready for primer. Once we get the other rocker panel in, I want to get everything sanded and re-epoxy primer this. I blew a little bit of flat black paint down in here last night to seep under where the plug welds were there, and I went and I blew a ton of black paint in through the hole and in through my other holes I had on the back that seep down through the edges on this inner side of this rocker panel. And actually I had the cardboard on here catching the paint, but blew a bunch of paint in there, so hopefully that got down into the edges of where the panels came together, coated that with a lot of paint. It was rattle can paint, and I put it in super heavy, and so it's real runny. So it'll wick down through there, like kind of coated up good. And I'm going to put fluid film after the truck is painted. I'm going to put fluid film in the rocker panels anyways, so it'll be double rust protected. But that's good here. And like I said, I'd like to get one of those little zing belt sanders to get this. I'm going to get one of those next week. Okay, I've been laboring away here on the truck. I cut my door bars out of the passenger side, and I'm fitting the rocker panel up here on the passenger side just like I did on the driver's side. The last video I did on the truck was that, if you want to see the in-depth process of what had to happen. But essentially, it gets plug welded and a little bit of seam weld in here. But the big problem with this is both these front floor pans were made wrong, where this edges here the inner rocker sits on, or the outer rocker sits on the inner rocker floor portion. And I needed to, it's got a little bit of an angling down here, so I had to cut it free where they two join together, and I had to cut it here. I had to take this big steel plate and a big hammer this edge down, and you can see here the mix match. It's down about 1/4 inch there, and it's, I don't know, 1/16 or so here, but that's required to get the rocker panel to fit right, or else the door hits here and then you can't put the rocker on. So I've got the door over there ready to go on. But first, I'm going to put the door on, and then I'm going to work on this, get the rocker fitting better before I weld this inner structure back up. I'll weld these two seams back up. I'm going to drill a hole in it here, an inch and 1/8 hole for a plug for putting fluid film in the rocker panels later on. And then once I get the door fit to the cab, I will dress this up and start clamping the rocker on. But if you want to see a full in-depth step-by-step operation of what I did, you can go watch the previous video to this on a truck. So I'm just going to hop through for this video, just say that work's getting done. I got a little dissuaged with this. I got off it, and I ended up scuffing the EDP on the roof panel here for the AMD roof panel. And I'm coming around. I got everything ground down. All the spot welds that I used, or welds attached to ground down. This will all get seam sealed and filled up level of that with seam sealer. But I scuffed it down here. I scuffed some of the self-etching primer up on the back panel. I gave up on it here just because my arm got tired, but I want to scuff the whole back panel and scuff this rocker and everything else, and then prep the cab for primer again. I'm going to scuff up the drip rail here, and I'm going to tape it off and just reprime the door jambs and the rocker panels in the back of the cab with epoxy to get a good coat of epoxy on it. Obviously primed all this up here. And then I'm going to blow a little bit of primer around the window on the inside, and obviously the roof and the back panel and all that will get covered with epoxy, and then that'll seal. And I'm going to wait till I get the other rocker panel put on, but that will seal everything up nice with a good coat of epoxy primer. And then I can do my seam sealer here. I've got to seam seal this edge up for the drip rails, and then seam seal all this, but I wanted to put the epoxy on first, and then I will, once the epoxy's on here, I'll put the body filler on here to fill this in. It's going to use about 1/8 inch of Duraglass to fill this part up, and I had to make this because the roof panel didn't match the back panel. So Duraglass that in, sand all that on top of the epoxy body, work that. Okay, it's a day or two later here at night, and my parts showed up from AMD. Check this out. I've got new door bottoms, left and right. I go all the way down. This is the inner side, inner right. They're Tri-Plus units, so it'll have all the new stuff. I only need like this much down here, and I think I'm going to cut it like in the center of the seam across here maybe, and just use the bottom part. You don't need to go all the way up, obviously. Here's the driver's door. If I rolled over here, I can show what I mean. It's only rusty up into the very bottom edge, so actually I need to come up in there. I don't know. It's going to be easy to make the seam on this body line. The panel comes all the way up here under the door panel itself. But if you splice up here, then you'd have to do a lot of the, you won't if you spliced it up here, you'd have to roll the edge all around on the inside. And then if you weren't fixing the door panel down here, obviously you'd have to have something to do. I think I want to replace the door skin from here down and leave like an inch. And like I said, I think earlier, I'm going to step the bottom and glue this on with the panel epoxy adhesive, glue it on here. So this will take care of our rusty door issue with these panels coming in. And they were cheap. Like these are like $34, $35 for these complete brand new inner bottoms. Like, you know, if I tried to fix them, especially on that door where it's rustier, by the time we try to do all that monkey around, make that by hand, that's way more than $35 worth of work. So we got complete brand new door bottoms for $35 and the outer skin. The passenger one here I bought from Raybuck Auto Parts, I believe, is a little bit shorter, which it doesn't matter. I'm only going to use this bottom portion. But the passenger side door has more rust in it up here, so we got to come up almost to the hinge on this side. And obviously the skin has got a hole right in through here, but same thing, we'll do it here. We'll cut it like an inch below the body line, flange new panel, glue it in. Because like I said, if you wanted to weld this seam all the way across, it's a ton of work. Oh, actually, also I got the door in here. I don't think I showed this because I was fitting it off camera, but I got the rocker panel kind of close in here. I've got a screw in it here. I got a screw in the front. It needs some hammer and dolly work and stretching it around like I did on the other side in the actual rocker panel video. But it's fitted close. I've got the door gaps good all the way around. I got my like 3/16 paint stick-ish seam on the back. This door is a little wonky in the door skin compared to the driver's side, but I've got a good gap on the bottom. The front, I got to push down just a little bit. The screw I have holding in place before I weld it, I got to push the gap down just a little bit in the front. But the back's really nice. It fits really good and tight here, and the gap looks good. The only problem I got with this back panel is I don't know if it's the door or the back panel here. So if I push the door like flush to the body line, you see here on the crown, the edge of the door sticks out about 1/8 inch from like here to here. You see that there? So that's a little bit of an issue. But the problem is the truck was originally that way because on the inside here, this metal panel or the door jamb structure is hitting the skin. They're touched right together. So obviously I didn't change the door pillar, so this skin is fitting on it how it was. So these brown doors don't go with this cab, but it's something. So either this door, or maybe that's just how they were from the factory and there was a little misalignment. I'm not sure. So I could, I guess, cut into this with the cutoff wheel, cut into this, cut through the inner structure, take a little material out, then try to tap this body line in, which seems like a lot of hacking and cutting, but I might just like split the difference with the door. If I get the door so it fits pretty good here, I mean, it's not a lot. I mean, you're going to see it, but it's also going to be, you're going to see a little bit of it. I don't know. It's on the passenger side. This is a driver quality truck, but is the time to fix stuff like this. Like, it wouldn't take a ton of cutting, I don't think, to fix that. And it would probably look better in the long run. But I don't want to make a whole bunch of extra work. But I think if I sliced it back here a bit, relief cut it, and then tap this. I don't want to get in the booger in the body lines all up, but it's going to take the width of a cutoff wheel pretty much and knock it in and re-weld it. It would probably look better than leaving it. If I leave the adjusted door out just a hair, it kind of disappears. If you leave it a little bit proud up here, it kind of like goes away, but then it looks like the door sticks out a little bit. If you look from the back, the door looks like it's open. So the door really wants to be like there. and then it just sticks out just a touch from like here to here. That's where we're going to leave it here. I've got my repair panel parts and pieces from AMD now. Next time I'll get into, I got to weld that rocker up, get that on, but then I'll get into, we'll get into fixing the doors. We'll hack the outer skin off, just just get it out of the way, spend some time, make sure the bottoms are nice. So actually, let me think about this. I'm going to leave the outer skin on and just grind the folded off lip off, put the inner piece on with the outer skin as a reference. And that's what we'll do. And then install the new piece that'll help lock it in place, and then cut the outer skin off and replace the outer skin last. That's what we'll do. Just came up with it right now. It's the plan. But other than that, this side's coming together pretty good. And I've got a tool review coming up. Sneak peek from Harbor Freight. A couple tool reviews. I bought a McGraw DA, cheap one because I need a DA sander to sand stuff, which I don't know if we'll even do a review on that. We might, but the big deal is I bought the little sander I was talking about in one of the videos. This little belt sander deal here from Bauer from Harbor Freight. Just bought that, so I'll open that up, do an unboxing, and it uses these little strip belt sanding things, and that's going to be good to get into the areas like I need to fix this weld here. That little belt sander should be able to get in there and sand it down. That's why I bought it. It wasn't that expensive. I want to say it was like less than 60 bucks or 69 bucks, something like that. So we'll try it. And this DA was real cheap. This is like $35, but it's an actual dual action sander that I need that takes the 6-inch stick-on discs. So we'll be doing a separate unboxing video and try them out. But the weekend's coming up. It's going to be super cold out, so I'll be in the shop with the heat on, working on doors. Maybe hopefully get these door bottoms kicked out and then get going, because I want to get metal work on the cab done, get the doors working, and fix the doors and start getting the body work going, getting this thing in final primer. So maybe like by the end of January, it can be in blue paint, maybe. Then we can have the fun part of slamming it all back together. Get my glass guy, put in some new glass, new windshield anyways. I got to reuse the back window, but we'll put a new windshield in it and everything, and bam. So I love it, I love it, I love it. That's what Roscoe P. Coltrane would say. C10 action coming at you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bam. Here at the Quick Speed Shop.